What is up, everybody? This is Cedric and we're back again on this game, Call of Duty. What I wanted to do with this channel is I want to focus a little more on like Call of Duty and maybe other games in the future to like talk about specific topics about those games. But for now, just to give you an update, I want to focus more on just playing Call of Duty and talking about the game and the state that it's in, whether that being a topic about like the previous video, the whole fun skins and colorful skins and the Call of Duty skin epidemic, or just a skin epidemic in all games, so in the industry. But today I want to talk about, I was thinking a lot about previous Call of Duties and how much they've changed over the years, because I was also thinking about that during that other video. But it was very interesting to me how back in the day, or at least the OG Call of Duty players, usually look back to those Call of Duties as like they're like the best in the franchise. And it makes me wonder, was Call of Duty really better back then? If you don't really think about the question much, you'll probably say yes, they were better back then. But again, Call of Duty has changed a lot, to the point where, just like the previous video, the game looks nothing like it used to. And that comes from more better graphics, better fidelity, different controls, new movement and things like that. But the game itself, as far as like the focus of it goes, it's pretty much the same. Of course, they've added new things like Warzone and like new game modes like zombies that it was back then, but it's changed a lot as well. It's gotten other gameplay mechanics added to it, like having plates and gobble gums and things like that. If you think about the games as they were before, if they were, because I think even Face Jeb mentioned this in one of his videos a while back, probably a couple weeks ago. I can't remember what the video was exactly, but if you think about it, if the games that we had back then, like Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, if they were released today, they would probably do okay, because it's Call of Duty. It would still sell a lot, but it would probably be just as unpopular as it is now, given the current state of like gaming in general. Because a lot of people say, no, Call of Duty used to be better, but then we also complain about games like FIFA or Madden, where they haven't really changed all that much. It's always the same game. A lot of people complain about those. So imagine we got Black Ops 2, and then we got Black Ops 3, and it was basically Black Ops 2 with like different guns, and that's it. And then we got Black Ops 3, and Black Ops 4, and it was just Black Ops 2 again, with different skins and maybe a little update to the graphics. It would not do well. And if we got Black Ops 2 as it came out, it would also be kind of unpopular. It would still be played. I'm not saying that no one would play it. I would play it because I liked it a lot, and it's one of I think it's like, at least for most people, it's like one of their favorites, or at least their favorite Call of Duty and Black Ops game as well. But if you think about all the, like, if you really played it and you think about all the issues that it had back then, people wouldn't think as fondly of them. I mean, if they came out today, they would probably complain about those bad design choices that they made, like how they treated snipers, where it was fun to use them because they were difficult, but they were very difficult to use. And then you also had things like the riot shield that you could actually place down, and you had like all these sort of like claymores that you could use. I forget the name, like I think they were called bouncing betties there. You had things like that. You had the sights that would mark the enemies as you were looking, or ADSing. So they had things like that catered more to a more passive player. And those are things that people complain about nowadays on the newer Call of Duty. So the game wasn't perfect, but it was a lot of fun because it was new, it was refreshing, it was a different take on Call of Duty, because we always had like modern or a little old school, or the games would focus more on like older conflicts in the world and not futuristic stuff. So it was very refreshing to see that. But if you think about it, having it released today, yeah, sure, it would be fun, but it would probably just die as fast as the Call of Duty that we currently have. Like Black Ops 6 is currently not as popular as it was when it came out, and a lot of people have conflicted feelings about it if they don't actually hate it. Because I know some people that have complained about it, that they don't really like playing it, but they play it because their friends are playing it, right? So it's now it caters to a different demographic, as just like Black Ops 2 back then catered to a different demographic as well. So was Call of Duty really, if you ask me again, was Call of Duty really better back then? Probably not. It didn't have as much customization as it has now. You couldn't really change like the ADS settings specifically to a different optic or a different zoom and things like that. So there was a lot less customization, which therefore would mean people wouldn't like it as much. There was no crossplay, and nowadays if there's no crossplay on a game, people shit on it. Again, there's a lot of things that we didn't have back then that would be kind of a given today. Yeah, when people say, oh yeah, no, if they release something like that now, it would do so much better. It really probably wouldn't do as good as it did back then. And also, Call of Duty has changed in its focus. Back then, it was just more about developers making a game that they wanted to make. And nowadays, it focuses more a little on making a game that people play for a lot of hours, so that they'll feel more inclined to spending money on the game. Right, so that's why we have a lot of crazy skins, because those are more attractive to people. We have skins with like dog heads and shark heads and things like that, which are obnoxious and crazy, but people buy them, and that's why they're there. It's always a difficult question. It's something that's also difficult to really think about, because we also look at older Call of Duties with like this nostalgia glasses, because we had a lot of fun back then. It was a lot of us had a lot of free time back then, so it was a lot easier to play with friends and stay up all night and play with randoms and like talk shit to randoms and then just overall have a lot of fun. It was a lot easier, right? And it was probably better times for a lot of people as well. Nowadays, the people that were playing those games have a lot more responsibilities, right? Some people are working, they have families now. Imagine you didn't have SBMM back then. It was a lot easier to have a more casual experience with the game than it is now. Because now if you hop on a game, the game wants you to like try your hardest, like you're playing ranked play, and it's just a pub match. You have people that work 9 to 5, come home, have to take care of their kids, do their groceries or whatever. It's just difficult to have fun on the game. It's a different context for those people. So you look back and you think of maybe happier times. You think about happier times, and it just makes you think of the game a lot more fondly than you would probably thinking about Modern Warfare 2, which is one of the more hated Call of Duty games nowadays. So it makes you think a lot. If you think back really hard, you'll find things that were not great about the game, but the experience that you had then was a lot better because of the context. Or maybe even if you didn't really have a great life, so to speak, back then, the game was your escape. So it was a lot easier to have a good time in the game, because it helped you not focus on the bad stuff. So that also gives you those nostalgic glasses to look at the game with. If you really think about it, was the game that you think is better than this Call of Duty, was it really better, or is it that you're thinking about all the memories that come attached with that game? Because that's when you could maybe really come to the realization that it wasn't really that great of a game. It was just that it was a different context back then. Did the game really have a lot better gameplay mechanics than what we have now? And you know, if you really think about it, it may not have as many or better gameplay mechanics, or maybe it does. You know, it all comes down to preference at the end of the day as well. So if you have a different preference, then maybe you won't like Black Ops 6, and maybe you will like Modern Warfare 2, even if it's a hated game. It's the same thing as what I've been seeing from some other content creators, that, you know, they've been going back to like Ghosts. And I like the game because I played with friends, you know, and I'm realistic in that aspect, because I know that I had fun because I was playing with my friends and we were just like messing around and things like that while playing the game. So it made it a lot more fun. But maybe the people that were just Call of Duty fans didn't have as much fun because of certain gameplay mechanics that they added. But if you think about like their additional game modes like Extension, you'll probably think, it was not great of a game mode, but I had friends that really liked it, and I enjoyed it myself because I played it with those friends that knew what they were doing and had fun. They would explain to me what to do, and it would just make the experience a lot better. But a lot of people hate on that game, and a lot of people hated that game so much. And I was included at some point because I didn't really like the way the game looked as far as the colors. It always looked really washed out, like it was all like grays and mostly gray colors. But it made sense because of the setting that the game was on. So it's funny to me that some people are now looking back at that game and saying like, oh, Ghost was always that great, but you know, people didn't really realize it. And it's funny to see that. But think about it. Were the Call of Duty games back in the day better, or are you kind of just looking at it with nostalgia and that's why you think it's better? Let me know in the comments. I would like to know. Let's have that conversation. But other than that, I do appreciate you watching. Remember, if you like these type of videos, leave a like. Subscribe if you're not. That helps the channel out a lot. And I'll appreciate it the rest of my life. If I sound a little weird, I did have a wisdom tooth taken out not that long ago, and it's a little difficult to speak, but I hope you don't mind. And other than that, again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.